I don't know if D got a single, if Latrice has gotten a single ball yet. So Mallory just completely blew her out of the water. Yeah, Latrice says I didn't get one. Mallory got 68 points. Latrice got 0. All right. You got Bronx. I hate every special effect on this season of Big Brother. Yep. So Jason, then Mallory selected Jason to go next, and Jason selected Kamo to go against. I don't know at all how this went. I don't know who went out in what order. I just know Mallory won. So I guess we get to see how these two do, which makes it at least a little bit interesting to watch. Oh, so Kamu's basically saying all I have to do is beat Jason, and then I don't care if I win or not. I just need him to be not able to play it because he's his target. Kamu's got 21. No, this is definitely more competitive. Jason by 10, 72 to 62. That's it. Game over. I don't care the rest of the way out. Haley got picked by Kamu, and she picked Lyric to go against. And Lyric is, oh look, pickleball references with Lyric's boyfriend. But Haley says she was trying to win it. Time are we at? We got 45 minutes to go. Oh my lord. Yeah, this is going to be all tea party. Okay, we see them spin. Oh, they are filling time. The visual effects are really annoying to me. See what the score is. Oh, Haley only got 37. And Lyric got 92. Best score so far, 92. Really? Well, I guess you don't want to tick off. Well, why do you care for tick off? I don't get it. So Lyric picked Mallory. Oh, and she's picking Kamu. It didn't matter. Lyric picked Mallory to go next, and Mallory picked Kamu. I got the yawn. Sorry, people that are watching this and I'm yawning. Apologies. What is this? AI? Ugh. Go away. Delete message. Thank you for joining, person, but when you put in links, I dump them. Okay. We're at a commercial. Let's see what the timeline is saying. No, can't. Kamu isn't concerned about what the guys are saying back home about his outfit. He's not as easily offended as people think. It is what it is. Hi, Addie. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. You're feeling Big Brother 10 vibes, huh? Okay. Is that just the tutus? Is there right tutus? Well, that was 11. I'm not hating it. It's just very lopsided right now. But thank you for popping in and saying hi. Yes, Addie, you're absolutely right. It can only stay lopsided so long, and then there's nobody left to throw off on the other side. So it will eventually even it out. It's a bit more enjoyable when it's a flip flop every week. But they can't keep doing this. I mean, you're not going to end up with Dee, Devins, Angela, Kamu, Haley, and Chuck. That's not how this is going to end up. It's time for America's vote. So the question is Dee going to win the next time capsule vote? Or is it going to be a see if there's change tomorrow. Mallory defeated Camu in the pickle competition, so it came down to Mallory versus Lyric. I guess, well, I didn't know who Lyric beat to win. Obviously, Lyric beat. Yeah. If Mallory had won it, then it could have been potentially Lyric versus Latrice. Jason might win it, huh? Not, or Lyric. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, other than D's the obvious one. The rest of them I couldn't guess. People are looking at Big Brother Network's polls as if that's any indication of the rest of the world, because it's not. Based off of followers. Yeah. If they're paying attention, sure. If their social media person is pushing them hard online and saying, please go here and vote, maybe. I'm sure CBS has an idea. But the question would be also, now that Devin's got it, are those Survivor fans going to now switch their vote to D? So all the people that gave it to Devin's, are they going to turn around and give it to D this week, right? So there's the reason I think D will get it. Because I think everybody that voted for Devin's last week will now vote for D this week. I think the Survivor community really wants a Survivor alumni to win this so that they can just thumb their nose at Big Brother and say, see, Big Brother's not as tough as Survivor. Look, a Survivor can win Big Brother. No Big Brother player has ever won Survivor. My God, it is 25 minutes and they've got to do the tea party yet. And they have to prepare us for the tea party. So they may end the show on the tea party and do the Power Veto meeting on Thursday. Rome has been in this episode more than Taylor, Chuck, and Yash combined. Lyric winning this is so romantic. Drew's missing from the edit as he's laying low. Yeah. 90-minute episode. It's the awkward dead air for a minute or two while I wonder if my connection isn't working, but they basically don't have any commercials to run, so it just sits there. Episode, week, season, what? Episode, week, season, yeah. Hello, Laura Rusty. We're waiting for the tea party. Waiting for the tea party. So D saying that Jason is just too messy to have around. I don't think they're going to show Kamu plotting his surprise. guess it's only 9:03. All right, let's a little bit more here. They're testing the emergency broadcast system right now. Okay, well, luckily I can turn on closed captioning, I guess. So they are now showing Camus. This was the first time when he started talking about wanting to blow up just Jason's game. By the way, thank you from whoever did whatever that made a sound on my Twitch. I still don't know how all that works, and I can't keep track of it. All right, so he's saying I'm going to call him out in front of everybody. Oh, they got to show Drew and Barrett in their dresses. Oh, they got so much to cover. This will probably be his only. Maybe they'll show him conferring with Devons too. Okay. All right. Okay, back to this. Check and see the timeline. Notifications. Frame Jason 14. Yes, they are highlighting Jason's messy gameplay. Well, yes. They will cut out all the awkward silence for sure. But it went on for an hour. They don't need to show everything. They don't need to show all of Camus' speech. And they really just need to show Camus exposing Jason and then the fighting, and they probably won't show too much of Latrice's complaining. There was a lot of cyclical talking and arguing. They went back and forth. They should show Taylor getting up and taking a shower, but they're not going to show that. And I gave you a winky face because even though you annoyed me with that comment, I don't want you to think I'm being a dick. The life of navigating somewhat passive aggressiveness on the blue sky. Jason for the Traitors and House of Rebels. Oh, as someone who's Facebook is very anti-comment. Really? That's interesting. Hey, Jason played an SE game. He's going to be the veteran in some of these. I see people saying he's the win. I think we're back on. Nope. All right. Here comes the tea party. Oh, they're going to show Mallory's day being ruined. And here are the boys getting dressed up in the dresses. And now we see Camus rehearsing his speech. Another have not mentioned. So they're alternating happy music for the tea party and troubling dark music as Camus is getting ready. I mean, in this case, they're they cut right to that. I watched this whole thing live, so it's not like I'm going to see something I didn't see before, but it's just going to be, and the edit's going to be what the edit's going to be. Will they show Latrice saying, "He never promised me anything"? Oh, Devin's getting the nice edit here because he knew it was coming too. Well, they are showing Latrice saying he never made a promise. I mean, this is a fair edit. This is painting Jason as fighting back. I don't agree. If they show Jason flipping off Angela, that might be kind of a bad moment, but he did it. He was dead on when he's pointed all this out. I don't think they're trying to make Jason look bad. So, right. Yeah. D likes the chaos. This is what motivated him to get the tea kettles. So this is justifying the tea kettle now. This is all before Taylor went to shower. Oh, they didn't make him come back in their dresses. Someone made it sound like they did, like Drew had to go in a dress. Oh, they're showing the human Devon side. They got to show They got to show him get the teapot in the middle of the night and start banging it. And that's probably where they're going to end the show. We got 12 minutes. We've got 12 minutes to show all of the teapot antics. Ah, there goes Taylor to shower. Someone's going to say. Are they going to say a murder of crows? Yes. Yep. That's the line they decided to end it on. Let me look up Red Wedding. If you didn't see it, this is the segment, how they should have ended the segment. Let me mute this. I'll go here. I'll unmute my desktop, and I'll hit play.
Valerie, thank you for a beautiful tea party.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Mal.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. You really know how to throw down.
Felt like the Red Wedding. If anybody watches Game of Thrones,
I know what you're talking about.
you do.
My mom watches it.
Yeah.
It's the Red Wedding. Oh, well. Okay, back to the show. Maybe. That's not it. There we go. Well, here we go. He's getting his pot. We got 8 minutes. I guess they could do like 2 minutes of pot banging and then leading up to the Power Veto meeting. Yeah. Okay. Next day. I don't know why. The reheating nachos thing, I'm kind of sick of the phrase, but that may just be me. We wondered if they're going to do this. Are they going to show Kamu in the DR? They alternated they edited the order a little bit there. The one walking behind Haley was the last thing we saw in the feeds before it went to POV meeting. Yeah, that was right when they cut the feeds for the POV meeting. Okay. They aren't showing. Okay, we didn't see this part. Kamu telling him not to bang the pots around the women. Okay, well. So Jason is drinking tea. But he doesn't have the teapot. So they must have taken the teapot away from him or told him he couldn't have it at the meeting, because there's no reason he wouldn't have kept it up. Well, they got through it. All right. Yep, there we go. Let's see if they say anything else in the teaser. Okay. No teasers or anything coming out of the end. I think that's it for the show. No idea how many of you stayed around, but thank you for hanging out with me. End of the show. All right. So how many of you are here? Does it tell me? Ishara's still here. Sweetheart, say Sweetheart, and Laura Rusty is still here. Laura Rusty. Yeah, okay. What about over on the YouTube side? Is there anyone there? Let's see. Is Addie D Rose still there? This is me. This is live. Says it's live. One watching. There we go. That's all good. Definitely get more people listening to my podcast. Well, not on this thing. What is it? 999 videos. I need 1,000 videos. 215 subscribers. Okay, guys. Well, I am going to call it a night. I got to go clean the house. My wife is coming home tomorrow. The Spanish segment was entertaining with Barrett. That happened pretty early on. If you want to watch the POV competition, that was like 20, 25 minutes. I don't know. And then the last half hour, the last half hour might be worth watching St. Clinton. I mean, that's where they show the tea party. But if you were watching online, hi, Ms. Aslan. You're catching me on the way out the door. I'm getting ready to call it a night, but hello. If you... if you were watching online, like I posted I posted a much longer version of the tea party. So if you already watched that, then watching it on the TV show, I mean, you're going to get some diary room entries. I don't think Jason got a horrible edit, all things considered. I don't think Kamu got a great edit. I think Devin's got a good edit. I think Dee got an okay edit. I don't know. You think Jason looked better, Ms. Aslan? Yeah, I'm just reading my timeline on Blue Sky, and people were complaining about the edit Jason was getting, and I just thought, come on. Off topic, but what do I think is up with the sequester? Well, I didn't know about it till somebody else told me about it, and so I went and looked. Someone said maybe the 5 dots means had she done 4 seasons? Was the last season 4? I don't even remember, but I guess maybe the last season was 4, and so maybe she's teasing that a season 5 might show up. And if it's a season 5, I said to somebody else earlier today in chat, I think I know who I was talking with somebody privately, and I just simply said, if Audrey is looking to bring back the regular sequester, the full-on, TV experience or in the equivalent of a TV show, I don't think she'd get a huge pushback from that. That wasn't the problem thing. It was the It was the sequester minis that were the problem, or was a problem for some people. But yeah, so if she's not looking to bring back the minis and she just wants to bring back a regular sequester, that'd be cool. But that also means it'd be a long ways off, and you'd have to cast, you'd have to put it together, unless they've already cast and they're doing it all secretly, right? Maybe she's already done a cast and they're just doing it all. Yeah. Well, she could see. I understand what you're saying, sweetheart, but remember, TR was running. Audrey was not running. I mean, to my knowledge, Audrey's kind of was backing off at the point that the minis really were taking off, because TR was running them and hosting them. And then they even had, Joe the Show hosted at least one, I think. I mean, it was kind of like they were setting that up for a long run of several people running and hosting them. But I still think if they're doing anything, maybe it's it's the show, the live. Yeah, the live, no, not the live. You say the live one, you mean the in real life, the one that took place on the little estate. Anyways, those are my thoughts. You think Jason's edit was really good because I saw it live when it was happening and I was so uncomfortable, and he just came off smoother with the edit. Yes, he did come off smoother with the edit. I think the edit was helpful, and they even had someone they had a couple of the house guests say, to teach the viewer what they were seeing. You should look at this as a bad thing for Camus. Camus the one coming off bad. I mean, they're telling us in the diary room, they're telling us, oh, look how bad Camus looks. Well, that's their way of trying to push the narrative that way, in my opinion. So they're helpfully explaining to people that this is how you should watch this. You wish they showed more of Camus explaining how he's playing an honest, good game. That man is so ridiculous. I don't know how much they showed. Right when they showed Camus talking to Dee the first time, that I had an emergency weather broadcast that beeped over it, so I didn't hear all the audio. But in that thing, Camus said, I need to find a reason, an excuse to put up Jason, and I am going to do this as my excuse to put up Jason. I don't know if that was communicated to the viewer, and maybe it doesn't matter. But to me, it's kind of like, dude, this was all a show so you could put Jason up, which Jason said it. Jason said, you're going to put me up anyways. You always planned to put me up, which it was true. I don't know. I mean, it was as good as it's going to get. It wasn't horrible. I do not think it was slanted against Jason. I don't think it gave Camus some kind of hero. And like I said, they were playing hero. When Jason stood up to Camus there after when Jason started standing up to him and talking back to him, the music bed was what I would call a hero music. It was like, oh, he's rising up. He's fighting back against his oppressor. That, now they went back and forth again, but right then I was like, okay, they're giving him an uplifting musical. I just look at the edits to see how they're painting the picture. I mean, this is why we watch Big Brother, right? We watch the live feeds, we see what happens, we take our interpretation, and then we see how CBS or how Fly on the Wall edits it together to make a story out of it, and we just go like, this isn't reality. And this is why we take all of this after watching all this, and then we watch a show like Survivor, and we go like, well, that's what they say happened, but we all know that what you see on the TV screen is often completely different than what really happened. Yeah, he set the whole thing up, and he sits across and calls Jason dishonest with the whole premise right. Yeah, yep. They should have shown Jason alone at the end. Yes, they should have shown. You're right, Laura. You know what? I thought they might show the end where everybody just got up and walked away from Jason sitting there by himself, because it was one of those time lapse. Everybody leaves him alone. It didn't even take that long. It was only like a minute and a half, and everybody was scattered. They could have done that, and it would have been a good sympathy edit for Jason. But it is what it is. I don't know what I want to happen, honestly. Yeah, I don't know what I want to happen. I don't know. I don't know. And Mallory is, I mean, no offense to Latrice, but she's just not she's entertaining. You know, she's fun to laugh at, but she's not going to do anything in the game. Oh, the cut to Taylor in taking the shower. I mean, they did catch her saying that, and I didn't hear her say it at the time, and she came back and said that's what she said. So, you know, if you want Jason to stay, then and then you want Mallory to go. Which again, Jason staying, winning head of household. That's the story right there, right? But who does Jason really end up attacking after all of that? Who's Jason going to go after? Is he going to put up Angela, Dee, and Devins? Or is he going to go? The problem is there's 6 people maybe that Jason's going to go after if he wins at a household. I mean, he'll get one of the 6. But my guess is the one he gets won't be worth that much in the end. Yeah, I agree, St. Clinton. I mean, I think he's definitely the most skewed at the end of the list of people, right? Because what if Mallory wins and stays and gets head of households? I don't know what she's gonna do. No, there's nobody, Ms. Aslan. There's nobody in that other mishmash of people. I mean, you can see him right there, right? There's nobody. And Drew and Devins are the closest that you. Well, not Drew. I always say Devins instead of Barrett. So Drew and Barrett. Not that Barrett's a leader, and I don't think Drew's really a leader. It's just, yeah. But Mallory is working with such limited information. She does not realize how in bed Drew and Barrett are with Dee and Devins and Angela. I don't think she does. Yeah, hey, Melody's, I said, of all the ladies in the house, besides Dee, who I'm just rooting for out of friendship, I said it, I think on my podcast today, or I may have said it, I said it. If I didn't know Brandon Donlin, I would not be rooting for Dee. But I am going to be loyal and root for Dee because I'm rooting for a friend of a friend. Same about Barrett. I'm still pulling for Barrett too. I'm rooting for friends of friends this season. It's very cool to be 1 degree of separation away from 2 of the house guests. But yeah, I think Dee's going to win this thing. But I said it on my podcast today. She's got to get to the final 2 seats, and just because she's running circles around most of these people doesn't mean she's going to get to the final 2 seats. I cited Vanessa as my example on my podcast. I'm like, look at Vanessa. I mean, she played a different game, but man, she should have made it to the end. If Dee makes it to the end, she wins. Oh, I love watching Devins too. No, I'm rooting for Dee, Devins, Melody, and Barrett. And a little bit of Drew just because Drew's okay and fun. I mean, I'm rooting for lots. I don't dislike most of these house guests. I'm not rooting for Camus, for Haley, for Chuck. I just can't see Latrice winning anything. Taylor too, right? Taylor's fun to watch. There's a lot of good players. It's a kind of a rough season, but it's a rough season because it just started out so stacked. Oh, Lyric? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Lyric. I just haven't decided how I feel about Lyric. Sorry, guys. See, if we were doing the Big Brother Gossip show, I got a Lyric impression. I don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but in my head, that doesn't sound too bad. But it may not sound that way out of my, recorded and stuff, but is that a fair Lyric impression? Spot on? There you go. Thank you. Linnea Tex 09. I didn't realize you were a new name in there. Hi, thank you. She knows what she's doing, and you don't blame her for that, but she's flirting her way through now with the guy gone. I do think she's an intelligent woman. Oh, I think she's very intelligent. She is an attorney. I mean, you still have to be somewhat, you can't just be an attorney just on your flirtability. The bar doesn't care. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I could see Lyric being like a Chelsea or even an Ashley, right? And the same with Taylor, potentially. I think Taylor's very smart too. I don't think we figured Taylor out yet. I think she's extremely smart. I mean, she's talked about it. She's like, she's a high school or she's a whatever she is counselor. She has to keep secrets, like she said, and she got to know stuff. You cannot do that stuff without. You have to at least have a college degree or something. I mean, she's got to have definitely some major training going on. So she's a sharp cookie too. Yep. Chuck? Is Chuck a doofus? They may not be doofuses, but then they show their lack of knowledge of certain things, and it is just shocking. I realize there's a lot of people don't know about the Boston Tea Party, but yeah, there you go. He's educated and he has a full-time job in logistics. His social game is just it is our schools fault for failing, but I would blame the parents too. Because if I ever heard one of my kids go like, I don't know what the Boston Tea Party is, I would look at them like, what? Having been married to a teacher for 35 years, parents are, it's just gotten really bad, guys. It's just gotten really bad. You all know that, though. Jen's parents did not really work on history with their kids, I guess. That's it too. I mean, look, and I say that, but I mean, you look at someone like, and I only know because she's told her story a little bit. Melody. She grew up single mom. It sounds like Melody's, and they've all got stories, but it sounds like Melody grew up, really not tough streets, but just that struggle of single mom, moving all the time. It just pulls at your heartstrings. I understand what you're saying, Ms. Aslan. Yes, the curriculum established at the state level. I will say this, by the way. Obviously, I went to school a lot. Yeah, I'm Gen X. What are you saying about Gen X? Because I'm Gen X. I'm not a boomer. I am not a baby boomer. Thank God. I don't want to get called a boomer. Part of the problem is there's so much more to learn, right? Oh, it's Gen X's parents. It's some Gen X parents, sure. Yeah, it's people my age that didn't. I am the elder Gen X. I was the first Gen X year. the generally accepted first Gen X year. There are, that's kind of a fuzzy line, but they draw the line at 1965. Yes, I think we kind of knew. Oh, did we? No, you said you were 4 years old in 1978, so you're younger though. You're like what? So 74, so you're like 9 years younger. You're a middle-aged Gen Xer. Son at 39, you're 52. That's yeah, okay, yeah, 52. 1900s, as my kids say. Well, my kids were all born in the 1900s. So, anyways, well, now you're all chatty. Nobody was talking the whole time the show was on. I guess you're all watching the show. I'm sorry. I need to edit my image and get ready to gray out. Here, I'll work on that while we'll do that for a second here. We'll pull it up because it's going to happen. I won't be here. I am 99.9% sure that I am not going to be here tomorrow night. That at this point, tomorrow night, I will hopefully be talking to people in a bar and looking at the clock and thinking I got a 2-hour drive home. because I'll be in Chicago at the party, at the watch party. Oh, you're doing laundry. Oh, well, my youngest is 26. Wait, 25. 25, because yeah. What would be a perfect alliance to go against the icons? I don't know. I do not know at this point. I don't know how they're going to get taken apart. And I am team fun feeds. I am team whatever. I don't want to see Angela, Devins, and Dee get all the way to the end. They're going to have to lock in and get a couple weeks in a row where they win something. They've got to win something. And nobody's winning anything except for POV. But with the blockbuster and 3 nominees, you still, you know, it's yeah, I don't know. I do not know. All right, so we're looking at Mallory. Mallory. Gotta go in there. Do that. Edit. Cut. Oops. Edit. Cut. Edit. Paste. And now we're going to go colors. I never remember how to do this. There's so many different ways. Saturation. Just remove all the saturation and it will become black and white. There you go. So there's Mallory. But edit, undo, edit, copy, edit, paste. So now I have 2 Mallorys. See, this is work that I don't do. I have a Mallory black and white and what I need. I don't know how many of you all do photo goofing around. It's really fun to do once you know how to do it. Layers, colors, we'll go with this one. And we will go colors, saturation, nothing. And so I have it in black and white. So I have 2 layers. My layers over here. I have a Mallory color and a Mallory black and white. And I'm putting the Mallory black and white. So I'll put the Mallory color on top of the Mallory black and white right now. So that when I get home tomorrow or sometime this weekend, if Mallory is gone, all I have to do is click and drag. Eventually, Mallory will probably be gone. You think the craziest part is that Angela talking or taking her game and going after Drew, and I don't give us a couple of weeks, and I don't. Meanwhile, Dee and Devins will skate by. Oh yeah, totally. Did any of you watch the podcast that Nick City and Roxy and Zach did with Quinn last night that I linked to? That's Barrett's friends. They had Quinn on and they talked about Angela's incredibly. Oh, you think Angela's tanking her game? Oh yeah, she's going to blow up her game. It's just a matter of when. I had faith in her and thought that she'd figured it out, but she's incapable of lasting an entire season. She'll blow up her game. If you haven't seen that and you're looking for something to listen to, it's a fun podcast, but it's 3 hours long, and it is not a RHAP level podcast in that the production it's just a live podcast. They're just talking, and it's fun. It's your kind of standard friends talk about a show. It's this, right? It's this versus the Big Brother Gossip Show, where we had a whole script that we would work through. Because RHAP has an entire script. They are not completely off the cuff. A lot, they say, this is what we're going to talk about, then we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about this. I linked to it. I'll find it. 1 second. I'll go to my profile, and I will scroll down, and I'll put a link to it in my in the chat. 1 second. This one. It is copy link address. And let me figure out where I can put it. I'm just going to put it in the Twitch chat. So on the off chance there's anybody that's interested in the YouTube chat, let me know. But it'll show up on the screen. But it's called, it's the, what's it called? See, it doesn't even say it on here. I think it's called Our Reality. So it's Our Reality. But yeah, just the four of them just talking for Nick or Quinn stayed for the first stayed for like the first he's there 2 hours in. We went to leave had like I said 3 hours long. So I did skip over some. But I was curious to hear their take on Barrett's game and everything, and they really didn't do as much talking about it as I hoped. But I meant to do it. It's on Tuesday nights. And I was in it last week, and I messaged Nick, because Nick was in that. He has my cell phone number. So can you please just text me next Tuesday? Okay. Let me read what you're saying. I would have to sit in the kitchen and deliver Kevin said it's Scott. Aw, you were a clip submitter. Thank you. Well, thank you. Awesome. I mean, it's a different show, right? They still don't. I don't know. I actually watched yesterday's. I watched Terrence's show because I was just trying to wrap my brain around if I missed anything. I watched all this. What have I missed here? Have I missed anything? And just to see somebody else's take on it, it's helpful. But at the same time, I've always said, I don't need to watch anybody else's shows because I have my own opinions and I'm right. So why do I need to hear anybody else's? And I don't want to be accused of taking someone else's ideas. So, but in this case, with Nick's their podcast, I wanted to see them talking about Barrett, and they know him. So, but thank you for the comment. Yes, I mean, Scott's an awesome producer. Scott knows how to do podcasts. He's an awesome producer. And I mean, but as you know, I mean, we worked on that. That would be an all, we were working on it. It was an all-day Saturday thing. I mean, Scott and I all day on Saturday would be pulling clips, editing out dead space, trying to get it down to just the content that we wanted to make sure was communicated without removing stuff that couldn't be removed. We actually were in Colette the second year, believe it or not. We did our first year without Colette, and it was with what's her name from Silly Hamsters. And then Ash would do it with us, but we also had another person named Karen, who every once in a while I see Karen's pop up online, and I think, is that the Karen that we used to do it with? So our first season was with Ash and what's her name from Silly Hamsters? I can't think of her name. I want to say Sandy, but it's not Sandy. I know who Sandy is. It's another thing. But that's who we did it with. But she was just not. Ashley was fine, but she wasn't super energetic, and I still like Ashley. And the other person, Silly Hamsters, also was not. So I just didn't miss it. Colette was as much as Scott found everybody. It's Scott's podcast. I just had to sure, it was her Bitchy Big Brother, right? Her Bitchy Big Brother blog, but I don't know how he talked to her. They were communicating. Before, he said, "I've got this person, Colette. I want to give her. I think she can go and have her this I got what's her name from Silly Hamsters to do it just because we were looking for people, and hers was a name. Right? That was a big time blog back in the day. Yeah, her glitter. Yeah. Yep. She's got more talent in her pinky than I had in my body. But it comes with other issues. It was entertaining for people listening on the outside, but it became harder and harder to maintain that. As everybody that listened to it should know. I never minded being the punching bag. It was fun, but then it stopped being fun. Things changed. She hated the show more. It's not happening. And I was my attitude was the show's what the show's going to be here. We can talk about it or not. Just roll with it. And so when you say that, that reminds me of my son's review on iTunes. We said, for your information, that other guy is my dad, and he does enough already, and they don't need to do more than one show a week. That iTunes review is gone because that was on the original iTunes version of our podcast, which we lost and Scott had to switch over. No. Colette was not joking when she just literally shut off. And see, then we switched to we stopped doing live, right? I've talked about this before. I'm not telling any secrets, and goodness knows she's run me over the coals in her podcast. No, that was one of the reasons we stopped doing the live shows, because we would do the live show, we did the entire thing, beginning to end. Boom, we're done, no breaks. We're doing it live, and then she's like, I can't do live anymore. We have to always, and then we couldn't have you guys listening and chatting along in the chat room. You think Scott and I wanted to stop doing the live and stop being in the chat room? No, I didn't want to. We loved that chat room and seeing you guys chime in and get comments, but she couldn't see the chat because that's not how she was set up technologically wise. She couldn't see the chat, so she would get annoyed that she couldn't see the chat that you guys were writing, and I think she'd get mad. So that there's you remember things that I don't remember because if I couldn't get too absorbed in the chat, right? I couldn't look at it too closely. Of course, she'd also go back and review the chat afterwards. It is what it is. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would do it all over again. I wouldn't change anything except for, and I don't think there would have been any way that it wouldn't have gone off the rails. And I wish I could figure out how to do it again. Yep, we had a good time for sure. It was just so fun. It was just so fun. I talked to Scott the other day, just in chat. He didn't say anything that made me think, Scott's been arrested. I'm moving on and up. Well, I'm bouncing around. I'm moving on and up. I'm definitely bouncing around. I'm having a good time. I really wanted for Scott and I to go together too. When we were in the heyday of being an affiliate and the money that was coming in, I did just see, here's a sidetrack. I was watching on TikTok today, and one of the reality streamers that streams on, I think she streams more than just reality TV, but she was talking about her TikTok account, and she said she made like $4,000 one month. I'm like, what? What am I doing here? I'm like, wait a minute, let me figure this thing out. But no, I'm like, I know how much work that takes, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I just have to be able to just do what I'm going to do. I will do this when I can do this. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to do it every single day at a certain time to where I get yelled at on why didn't you do this. I didn't record a podcast yesterday. If I was doing it every single day and I promised that I would have people mad at me and say, I don't listen to you because you didn't do it. And I don't, just no, I'm doing this. I'm trying to keep people informed and entertained. But at the same time, this is not going to become a job for me. This is something I'm doing for the fun of it, doing this talking. But yes, the money is crazy. And the money was crazy when I was an affiliate back in the early Big Brother gossip days. I'm talking, early podcasts, but even when I was we were just doing, Big Brother, we're talking 8, 9, 10, because we were doing the Big Brother gossip website then, Scott and I, and then other people. We didn't start doing the podcast until Big Brother 13, but Scott and I together did the Big Brother gossip podcast or website starting in Big Brother. I think he started with me on Big Brother 8. So we did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is when we finally started the podcast. So we've been doing all kinds of stuff. I think you could fill it in. Let's see, stream yourself. Just host the chat. Well, I mean, that was kind of my intent. My intent has been kind of to do what we're doing right here. That this is what I'm hoping this will turn into. But at the same time, I thought Taryn kind of did that. Doesn't Taryn kind of do that? Doesn't he turn on his live stream and just talk with people? But I can't. The problem is that yes, I could do that. But here's the problem. I'm also getting screen caps of the feeds, and I'm sharing that, and I'm typing comments, and anything I do like this takes me away from that. I mean, I just watched the entire 90-minute show. If I had been doing it without this running, I would have been typing chat. And so you're right. There's conversations to be had. I mean, there are conversations we had with people watching. There is a niche. This is a niche to do this. If I just sat here and every day said, I'm going to come down for 3 or 4 hours every night, and I'm going to talk with anybody who wants to talk, I'll fire up the stream. I can't show you the feeds because I can get in trouble if I do that. But I could have them up. I mean, I have the feeds on, actually. I'm not going to leave it on, but look, there's the feeds, right? I got the feeds. I could, they're unmuted, but so I've got them unmuted. I'm watching. I could do that, and we could talk about what's going on. Right, Taryn doesn't have video running. I get that. No, because they can't, because you'll get in trouble. Unless he does it in his Discord. Does he not do it in his Discord either? I assumed he was showing his Discord. Hi, Deb. Wait, is that you? Wait. Is that old chat? Okay, that's old chat. That was Deb from last time. You're not trying to pick a lane. You just do it. Right. It's my ADD. I can't pick a lane. I can't lock in. If Scott wasn't the one that was making sure we did our podcast every Saturday, then it wouldn't have been every Saturday. Makes sense? I had an appointment, but I had to keep because I had to depend on Scott because that's, he was the one that I was just turning on my whatever we were using. Were we using Skype? I don't even remember. I think we were using Skype. I was just firing up my Skype and we were connecting and talking. I wasn't doing the engineering. This stuff on this, what I'm doing now, this bit, I wasn't doing. I just think there's room in the streaming space for someone to sit and do their thing at their desk and have other people watch them. I mean, yes, honestly, that's right. So that's right. There you go. I mean, it was like, this is what my intent was. Oh, look, I am going to work on, I'm going to make a graphic. Like I made a graphic today, right? Did you see my graphic that I made today? Did you see the tool shed industries that I made? I mean, that's something I made today, just sitting on my computer upstairs. I got inspired when I was doing my podcast. I said, it's kind of like the tools. If the tool shed was a corporation, then we got the C-suite. You've got the chairman of the board. I think D is the top dog, chairman of the board. I think Devins he's the HR person. He's in charge of conflict resolution, keeping everybody happy, keeping the water steady. And then you've got Angela, and I made her chief of communications because that's a stupid job for her to have. And she's in charge of crisis and chaos. That's Angela's job. All makes sense. And then at the bottom, you got the blue collar folks. You got the guys working on the floor in the factory at Toolshed Industries, and Kamu's in charge of those people. He's the foreman for the shop, and then you've got Haley doing whatever Haley's doing. I that's when I got tired of trying to come up with titles, right? Because I don't care what they do, and I couldn't come up with anything in particular that would be kind of funny. So I was like, okay, whatever. Haley's this, and Chuck is. I thought about putting Chuck in charge of security, and then you have middle management. And Drew, I said, okay, he's in charge of social media. Because Drew's the one who's going around, always making jokes and being funnies and kind of keeping everybody light and doing that. So he's a social media guy. And Barrett, I just was kind of like, he's a data analyst or something. I don't know, something, whatever it is. But then middle management. And what happens to middle management of a big corporation? I think that's what's going to happen. Sorry, boys, you got to go. Tools Shedding Corporation is Incorporated is in trouble, and the people in the C-suite are making the decision to cut middle management, and we're just gonna, we'll take care of that part. Yeah. I was like, when I was saying it, because it literally on my podcast today that I recorded, it literally happened. I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is such a great analogy for what's going on. It's like, yeah, they're just your services are no longer needed, guys. Thanks for what you did. You're higher paid than the red corner guys, but they're more loyal, and we're going to keep them around and let you guys go. So, yeah, I was proud of this enough that I tweeted it too. I went over to Twitter and I tweeted. I unlocked my Twitter account, by the way. I unlocked my Twitter account because I got the audio of Angela. The other day I got audio of Angela talking about telling Barrett and Latrice about the LA watch party for the finale. And she mentioned Ozza. And so I got her. She said, oh, Ozza hosted it last year. I think she's maybe hosting it this year or something. And so it was just enough that it was like, oh, they mentioned Ozza. And so I clipped it, and then I texted Ozza and I said, hey, I got this. And I posted it on Twitter, but my Twitter account was locked, and she wanted to retweet it. So I said, okay, I'm unlocking my Twitter account for 2 weeks so that she retweeted it too. Because she wanted to retweet it to say that, yes, I am holding here's the link to the LA party. So if anybody noticed that my Twitter account was unlocked. But back to what I was talking about, speaking of LA. So back when the money was rolling in for me, not for Scott, but for me, as being an affiliate. I'm never going to leave Twitter, but I will relock my account. And yes, I shared this on Twitter. I really just want to get enough people to come to my profile and see what I can't auto-post my podcast there. I'm going to do little breadcrumbs and hopefully pick up a few people that when they're looking for something, they go, where's... The thing is, the longer I'm not doing anything, I'm just going to be forgotten about. I'm already mostly forgotten. And look at the other accounts that are still active. Big Brother Junkies is posting, it's posting like almost the entire live feed stream over there, it looks like. So why would people leave that to come over to this one? I have to take a 30-minute video and cut it into 3-minute segments and post it. It's a pain in the ass. You know, that pain in the ass when we're a long conversation to cut it down to 3-minute segments and post it. I complain about that. What are we supposed to do? They don't want to provide more storage. They got to make it. Anyways, back to what I was saying for the sixth time. So when I was making tons and tons of money as an affiliate for the live feeds, I said to Scott, you know, one of these summers we're going to have to go to the finale, and I would just pay for your, you know, I'll pay for your hotel, I'll pay for your plane ticket. I was basically saying I'll pay like $1,000 or something, and that would not have been, by the way, chump change. Well, I wasn't making that much money, but it was kind of like, dude, you've done so much for me, we've done this together. We should go out to LA and hang out at the finale party. I was like, that was the reason. We ain't coming in now. What is tons and tons of more transparency? I think the most I made any summer, one summer, I think I made, and this would have been Big Brother 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range probably. Back when it was $15, we got paid $15 or $5 for every. We either got 5 or I don't know if we ever got 15. But at one point, we got $5 for anybody who signed up for a free 2-week trial. You didn't even have to keep paying. If all you did was sign up for a free 2-week trial and you canceled after 2 weeks, we still got $5. And it may have been more than that. By the way, pretty sure that they had different agreements with different people. So I think Dingo was getting more per sign up than I was necessarily. I don't know what the numbers were exactly. But at one point, whatever it was. So on a live edition, I could have I don't want to mess. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'll give you a number for an entire season, but I'm trying to get it an entire night. And I was gonna say I had 1,000 people sign up, but if I had $5 a head, that would be at $5,000. I never made $5,000 in a single night, so that's not the case. Although I will say, I know I had like at least 100 people on a endurance competition night sign up, because it'd be like sign up so you can watch it, sign up so you can watch it, sign. It was just to pour into people. Just sign up so you can watch it. Here's the link. Sign up so you can watch it. Here's the link. I own BigBrotherLiveFeeds.com. I would just type, just go to BigBrotherLiveFeeds.com, and it would just auto feed them into the link that would register as a referral for me, right? But again, you know, I don't. 100 signups in a night would have been an awesome night for me. I think the most I ever made one season, I'm going to say, between $15,000 and $17,000, and that would have been a ton of money 20 years ago. That's all pre-tax. It's all pre-tax, and it bought a hot tub at one point. And this is how I could justify it. Oh, hey Siri. Yeah, real players. That's all real players. I mean, they'd send. I got rid of it. I finally threw it away. But they sent us one year they sent us Godiva chocolate in a box. It was like a big box of Godiva chocolates. So they were just courting us. Here's another example of how the money was back in the day. So for the first season of Joe Schmo, yes, yeah, that was real player. For the first season of Joe Schmo, they paid me $500 for 3 months to put the banner at the top of ilovereality.com. So I put the Joe Schmo banner at the top of ilovereality.com for 3 months for $500 a month. So that went for $300. Well, we would get like $5. We got like $5 for every live feed sign up, even if they didn't follow through. It went. And I was getting a few hundred dollars here and there from the click, from the ads on my other. We forgot to cancel that. And we got free feeds. I got free feeds, and I could hook up other people with free feeds. Like, not many, but I would say, can I get a couple extras for the people that are helping me work on the site? So, yeah, Real Player was awesome. I think it was expensive. Obviously, it wasn't a model that could keep going on. Really? No, I don't go to chat BCC. I didn't know there's money involved. But that's really only $4. Great scheme of things. As you were selling some money out there, which is ridiculous. I'm not making money. I don't mean that. I'm not trying. I don't need to make money, but it certainly makes it a little bit more of a motivator to do this stuff. Told me, like, oh my God, wait, what? I was like, wait, I can make money doing this? Oh, and just, yeah, enjoying the retirement and caring about, yes, I'm very fortunate. I know I'm very fortunate. My wife retired 2 years before me. And we are not paying monthly minimum. Cha-ching! That's expensive. Basically still on my company's medical, but I have to pay Yeah, well, I'm a ways away from it. Actually, I went by work. I went by my former employer's office. I was visiting one of the places. They apparently somebody, one of their managers, just took a position at another place within the group, and so there's a slot opened up, and somebody said, "Oh, you come up to apply for that job." I'm like, yeah, I was on the Board of Elections in Ohio a couple of years ago, and the governor dismissed the board and this is insurance. Oh, yeah, we are very fortunate with insurance, and again, my wife was a teacher for 34 years, and so she has a decent pension in her retirement. So, yeah. Benefits, that's either make light of the fact that I am getting a little bit of people that are helping me out with this. But here's the thing. Listen to my podcast that I'm now paying too much. It's pretty I will look forward to that time. And so I have to do my podcast for the week just to break. No, it all does, Ms. Aslan. Yeah, the commercial, I don't know. There's commercials at the end, right? If you hear those commercials at the end, that's when that little happens. And again, I actively choose, first of all, I could do no commercials. I've talked about this. I could do no commercials, or it gives you the option to put them in the middle or to put them wherever. And it's like, nope, I'm putting them at the end. It's like, so I could make more money if I put them in the middle or at the beginning. But I'm just not. So that's why when we did the Big Brother Gossip show, we're like, do you get less money for putting? Well, I just assume less people listen to them, right? If I put them in the middle, then more people would have to listen to them, or would forget and it would go through. And I just assume I get less money. I've never tested it. I'm not going to. But when Scott and I, when we came up, so nice of you to listen to me. Oh, so it knows if it listens. My dog Zoe. I saw Z. Her name is Z-O-Y. Yeah, it right. Of course, I'm sure it does. It knows when it stops speaking. Unless, I honestly don't know how that works. I don't know if you automatically download the entire podcast if it sends back a note and says, oh, by the way, they listened all the way through. I'm not sure. I don't know. But again, back to Scott and I when we started the Big Brother Gossip show, trying to figure out, if you listen to the earliest, he did a cigarette advertiser one time for one season. He would say, oh, get this Jolly Rancher smokes, I don't know what it was. Go here and use this code and we'll get a thing for it. It's like, yeah, we got like $100 for that or something. Whatever it was. And then we went to the mode of with the Patreon. And we just said, just become a patron. And it did a charge for every episode. So what was it? Was it any amount, or was it like $2 or $5? Whatever it was. I don't remember. But we got our patrons, and then you didn't have to pay to listen, but if you wanted to pay, you did. That's why my patron's the same way. It's like, you don't have to be a patron to listen to anything I do, but if you are a patron, you're helping me. And I just don't push it too much. Yeah, we had 2 or 3 tiers of patrons. That's why I did the same kind of thing. I have 2 or 3 tiers of patrons. I have 3 tiers of patrons at my current Patreon. Yeah, and then you would get a shout out, right? That was the thing. It was like Colette would write a story, and then she was having. I know Scott started writing stories. I think one time we each took writing a story. I remember doing that because it started to get to be a lot, right? We had the executive producers who were paying like $50 to have us write a story. So it's okay, we'll all do it. And then other people we would just give shout outs. And then everybody else was just like, thank you for your patron. I told them when they started doing their day drinking, I said, you guys should just obviously I remember your name from that. Yeah. Ah, there you go. Yeah, and all of the, I think they're still looping. What's his name is this one too? Let's see. I mean, I have all the, one of the projects that I need to do. Some of them have stopped because I want to re-upload. I know, we had a lot of people that listened to our show, Miss Wesley. Trust me, I know. It sucks to quit. I mean, a lot of people listened to us. We were up in the iTunes charts. We were given, we talked about it. We were at least for one shining moment #1 on the TV Films iTunes. Hi there, SM Van Boys. We were #1. We were ahead of NPR's Happy Hour, whatever it was, and we were often for a few hours or minutes in the top 10 when we would release, and we would watch Rob as a podcast that just started. He's just a free information. But we were sometimes not very politically correct. But it was fun. My wife did not miss when we stopped. Hi, Ishara. Yes, I saw you were logged in. I said I was quitting an hour ago, and I'm still talking because Ms. Aslan and Sweet Tart had started talking to me, and a couple other people too. Let me scroll. Who else? Somebody else said something. Laura said something. Yep. And then one other person. Lania Tex 09. We're reminiscing. Before they had Taryn, Rob was trying to do the feeds and talk about him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was when, and I didn't know when Taryn came into the lineup. I just knew that I listened to like one episode of it, and I just thought, this really annoys me. It makes me angry to listen to them talk about it. And they were afraid to say anything mean or they were afraid to be upset with the. It was just Rob not wanting to piss off the CBS people, right? And I'm not being condescending towards him for it, but we knew that Rob wasn't going to say anything to piss off CBS. And so he would just be all happy and go lucky and, let's talk about what happened on the show and it's all fun and games and yada, yada. And we were just like, no, that's not it at all. We've got our conspiracies. We think they're doing things. We think we're leading the HGs on in the house.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I just passed it to him, gave it to him, and then okay. I'm sorry, teammate.
Yep, and they figured it out, and obviously now it is just a
then okay.
A mega.
I'm sorry, teammate.
Yep, and they figured it out, and obviously now it is just now not all of them are paying, but even if half of them are paying $10 a month, that's $100,000 a month.
And then this one too. And then we're gonna put
I've probably listened to a total of 3 hours of RHAP stuff. And again, I'm not trying to, it's nothing against him at this point. Oh, he does pay. I know. Oh, I know. Trust me. I mean, Lavina was after we did Sequester, we were all staying in touch, and Lavina is trying out to be a commentator on RHAP, and they send you a microphone, right? It's like, here's your microphone. This is what you're going to use. So no, I saw some of the back processes of it, like, oh my God, this is just, it's a business. It is a complete high-end business for them now. So yeah, we weren't making that kind of money on our show. It's like watching the news report. Right. Your show was like watching or not watching, hearing, reliving in my own brain. Yeah. It is. I don't know. Part of me wish we could do it again, but I know we're never going to do it again. So someone would have to just have some kind of a epiphany and a come to Jesus moment and want to do it. Well, as someone apparently that got some of the clips for Scott, you know how much time he spent on the clips. And making them listenable and editing out all the dead air. Oh my God, the dead air. The pauses, the ums. Put that back. Here and there. Put that back. I don't know what the URL is. Dang it. I don't know what the URL is. Dang it. Right, and there's a ton of recap shows now. Right, and there's a Yep, there's a lot of recap